that block was dead, yo. So we continued on to A1A
Beachfront Avenue. Welcome to our channel, Kate and Tim's Excellent Adventures Cruise Edition.
Today we're going to talk about South Beach, Miami. And my thoughts are, if you're in Miami and you have only one neighborhood you want to visit and you want to see everything that Miami has to offer all within a 1 mile non-stop party, street dance, whatever you want to call it, South Beach is where you go.
Yeah, we loved it. We went there and spent literally the whole day, morning till evening.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And a lot of that was spent just sitting at the park and people watching.
Yes.
And car watching. And more people watching. Talk about the significance of South Beach. It was built during the 1930s. And all of that 1930s era Art Deco is still intact almost 100 years later. That architecture is amazing. And frankly, I think a lot of that needs to make a huge comeback because it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I think if you're into that, that is the main reason 100% you should go and just check all of that out. We couldn't believe how cool everything was, that Art Deco look. It just felt like South Beach, even though I had never been to South Beach before. But I was like, well, this is South Beach because the Art Deco, the names of all of the buildings were always one word. And I don't know why, but I loved that whole thing. And if you just wanted just to walk along and look at all the architecture, that was worth getting down there.
It's worth the price of a Lyft or an Uber or even a taxi.
Right.
Absolutely take advantage of it.
Yeah. And I mean, and you're one way you're looking at this beautiful architecture, and then the other direction you're looking at the ocean. So really you can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong there. So our reason for going there initially was because we were planning on having lunch at the Versace Mansion, because if there's any one chance to sit in a multi-million-dollar house and have yourself a meal, this is the way to do it. We've made a video about that, so if you'd like, go ahead and check the description below. We've got a link to that. So one of the things that we felt attracted to within earshot of the Versace Mansion, just to the south, is the Palace Hotel. And the Palace Hotel apparently is drag brunch central. We didn't realize this until we got there. We're like, what is that music? And we kind of peek around the corner a little bit, and
there was a crowd
spilling out into the street.
Yes.
Blocking traffic. It was crazy.
Yeah, so of course we had to go see what was going on. We were early for our reservation, so we were like, we're going to go check this out.
Let's go see what this is.
And yeah, it was a Saturday afternoon, morning, so it was definitely a perfect time for them to have their drag brunch. And it was, we have been to one drag brunch here in Nebraska, and which was fun and amazing. But this took it to a whole new level. Like, there was acrobats happening. I mean, it was definitely entertainment with your mimosa.
Yes. It was a lot of flipping, a lot of jumping, flying through the air. If they had a trapeze, I wouldn't be surprised if they could incorporate that as well, but I think the ceiling was a little bit low, even though they did bring it out to the street for that part of the crowd to enjoy the show as well.
Yeah.
They know how big this crowd is and how big it gets. So.
Yeah, and it was amazing because the staff was there to not tell you to leave if you weren't actually dining. They were just making sure, hey, get in front of this barrier so you don't get hit by a car. But they were more than happy to have people watching. Like we said, it was on the sidewalk. It was on part of the street that they had kind of blocked off. Then there was a crowd across the street on the other side, on that sidewalk as well, watching and enjoying the show too. So, it was very fun.
It would not surprise me to find out that there were 700 people there. It was a lot, and it's all within this hotel that takes up only a fourth of a block. So, it was huge.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
After we had our lunch at the Versace Mansion, one thing I had to do at South Beach was find a sign for Florida A1A.
He definitely did.
And I did. We found it.
We were on the hunt.
We were on the hunt, and we found out it's actually Collins Avenue and not Beachfront Avenue. And as somebody who can recite Ice Ice Baby from beginning to end without a teleprompter, let me tell you about my disappointment. This would be like a fan of Beverly Hills 90210 finding out that that's not actually the zip code. It's A1A is actually Collins Avenue, and it's a quarter mile from the beachfront. Vanilla, you did me dirty.
We did find the signs. We did find A1A, but yes, it was definitely not beachfront.
It was not beachfront. No, it was not. However, what we did find on A1A were girls that were wearing less than bikinis, and we did see Rockman lovers driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris and even a freaking Rolls-Royce Cullinan. It's a strange place to visit when your Mercedes is, that's Joe who runs the butcher shop. That's what he drives, is a Mercedes. Because if you see a Camry or an Explorer or something like that, that's somebody just driving an Uber and taking people to party. After we found out that Vanilla Ice had lied to us about what that street name was called, we ventured north on South Beach on Ocean Avenue to the Hotel Carlyle. And the Hotel Carlyle stood in for exterior shots on what was called the Golden Palace, or the last season of the Golden Girls.
Yes, so if you are a Golden Girls fan, you probably know what the Golden Palace is. If you don't really know Golden Girls, or you just kind of watch it every once in a while, they had a season after the Golden Girls called Golden Palace, and the Golden Palace was a hotel that they were running.
It was bought up by Blanche.
Yes. And so it was just the exteriors that they used, but it was just walking distance from where we were at brunch at the Versace Mansion. So we were like, well, we have to go. And it also, I didn't know this, you did, but it was also in the movie
The Birdcage. And it was kind of nice when we got to the Carlisle, and they handed us drink menus, and it was the Birdcage bar.
Yeah.
So we had espresso martinis while we were there.
Yes. We were like, we have to go to the Golden Palace / Birdcage.
Absolutely do.
And they had wonderful martinis. We had our espresso, like Tim said, and we sat outside. We didn't get to go inside, but we sat outside, enjoyed that, and it was great. We were glad that we did that. And then again, something I did not know, but Tim knew. We visited a CVS, and you're probably like, okay, thank you for telling us. But Tim, do you want to tell us why?
Okay, so the CVS used to be an apartment building on the south end of South Beach, around 5th Street. And if you've seen the movie Scarface, with Al Pacino, not the original, but the one made in 1983, where he is a drug lord, and you're familiar with the chainsaw scene, well, the staircase is right there at CVS.
And they had a plaque and everything.
They had a plaque commemorating
was
it.
like, oh, you're not joking. You're not going crazy. This is like a real thing.
It is. And then next door, there is a hotel and restaurant, and parked out front, they have the car from the movie with a mannequin of Tony Montana sitting in the car. And you'd look at him and you think to yourself, this guy is about to yell at me and call me a cockroach.
And that was fun. That was really cool to see. Like, we didn't notice it right away, or at least I didn't. We saw the staircase and did all of that, and then it was like we turned around and we were gonna walk, and we were like, "Oh, there that is."
Yes.
And so we were able to like look at that closely and do some, filming of that, take some pictures. And while we were doing that, you could hear the waitress at the restaurant that was the car was right in front of, telling some patrons all about it, why that was there and how it was filmed and all of that. So it was fun to know that that little piece of movie history is still being talked about, and it was fun to just be able to hear it.
And so after we visited the CVS, we went south further to the Savoy Beach Club.
And we've talked about this in another video when we talked about the hotel that we stayed at, the Grayson. So you can always check that out if you're looking for different hotels. But the Savoy and the Grayson are like sister hotels, so that's why we were talking about it in the other video. But we'll tell you a little bit about it in this one as well. Savoy Beach Club is a hotel that has beach area, beachfront avenue.
There's no avenue back there.
No, there's no avenue.
Vanilla, no.
No.
There is a boardwalk. A1A Beachfront Boardwalk. No, that's not how that works.
But the Savoy was beautiful. We were in the lobby area and then their like pool type area, sitting outdoor kind of area, and to get to the beach club. And it was absolutely stunning. And we were like, we would like to stay here. And like I said, they have the beach club. And if you stay there, you have access to it. If you stay at the Grayson Hotel, you do actually get little vouchers to go hang out there as well.
You get a certificate for 2 beach chairs for every stay at the Grayson. And we didn't realize that until it had been mentioned to us by the staff at the Grayson. They said, "Are you going to the beach?" "Yes." "Well, here, have a voucher. Go stay at our beach club on the chairs."
Yeah, and that's what was wonderful about it, because we had chairs. We knew that we could be there, because I wouldn't even know if there's certain areas that you can't be that's public and not. So this was their like private part of the beach, and then we had chairs, and it was great. Definitely recommend.
Absolutely, 100% recommend. If you can get into the Savoy Beach Club, go to the Savoy Beach Club.
Yeah.
It's relatively quiet. The only downside, the only thing that I wish was a little bit different was when everybody was packing up and getting ready to leave, our chair neighbors had left a bag with some
leftover food,
uneaten food in it, and they're seagulls.
Yes.
And
just birds, regular birds,
all
too.
over the place, and all of them fought over this bag of food, not 10 feet from us.
Yeah.
And they were dive bombing us, saying, "No, you're not going to clean this up. We're all going to eat today.
This is ours."
And I was just annoyed because, pack up your trash. There's a trash can right there at the end of the beach before you get to the boardwalk, where you could throw that away yourself. So at the south end of the park, on the east side of Ocean Avenue, there is a large bathroom, and it is rather incredibly clean.
For like a city, and you don't know like a public restroom what that's going to be like. First of all, I was happy that there were public restrooms available, but then I was surprisingly like happy that it was actually very clean in there. And then not too far from the restrooms, there was a fun sign that said Miami Beach. So it was a fun like photo op as well that we definitely took advantage of.
Totally touristy.
Yes, yes.
Of course.
Yes, and we were in line, so we weren't the only ones doing it.
One of the cool things about South Beach is that you don't know who the tourists are and you don't know who the locals are. It felt like a very accepting community.
Yeah.
And that's one of for me, one of the biggest draws of South Beach. The only place you're going to find tourists is when they're taking selfies at the Miami Beach sign. Outside of that, you have no idea.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of walking and enjoying the sights and enjoying their time there.
And of course, enjoying the weather. It was 77 degrees in January. I mean,
we enjoyed that. We definitely enjoyed that.
When we came back, it was 1 degree.
Yes.
And then when we got out of the car, it was 2 degrees below zero.
So we enjoyed the 70s.
We absolutely enjoyed the 70 degrees there. While we were sitting there, we were watching people just do ordinary park things. There were a couple of people who looked like they were training for MMA, which was entertaining. And we walked past the South Beach version of Muscle Beach, a bunch of weight training equipment. Yeah. There's people riding bicycles all over the place. And
then while we were there, it was like dinner time, and we were kind of talking. We were sitting on this park bench, and we were like, do we go back to the hotel? Do we go back to like even just the neighborhood where our hotel is, or should we find somewhere to eat here? And we decided, let's just find. There were so many places
So
we
many
were looking at
restaurants.
from that bench that we were like, let's just find a restaurant here.
How about that one?
Yes, and so we found Havana 1957.
And it's loud. They have like all the restaurants that they have there. They're all playing loud music, and they all have drink specials. They all have meal specials, and this is no exception. While we were there, we had basically decided for dinner we were gonna like have appetizers, so we get a nice variety of Cuban food. You know?
Yeah. We were just like we were hungry, but we were like, we don't know if we want like a meal or just like do small plates and just share. And so that's what we did.
We did small plates shared, and then we had a couple of drinks, and that was a good time.
Yeah, and we were out on the sidewalk for that as well, so we were definitely able to again keep watching people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one thing that we did comment on as we were sitting there is it got busier and busier.
It did.
Like the sidewalk with all the people walking by, we felt like just as the day went, there were more and more people on the sidewalk.
If you liked this video, go ahead and check the description for links to other videos we have. One about our stay at the Grayson Hotel, and also about our meal that we had at the Versace Mansion.
We'll also include some links from this video, like maybe the Carlisle and Havana 1957. So if you'd like to check out those places, if you're heading to Miami, you can see like their menu and kind of see where they're located.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.